Hi everyone, welcome to this session of TutorialsLink Insight, where we talk about community experts, we learn experiences from professionals, and we gather information so that we learn about new things. And hopefully, this session will get better understanding for you for your future interviews. Today, we are honored to have Ms. Ivana Tilca with us. If I'm not wrong, Ivana, you just started your journey towards technical things as a Microsoft student partner, right?
I did. I think it was when I was almost 21 years old.
Perfect.
I'm old now, guys. But I started, yes, I think it was in my second year at university. I started being a Microsoft student partner.
Fantastic. And on top of that cake, in 2008, you just competed the Imagine Cup in Paris. That a fantastic opportunity where you learned things, implemented things in your project, and moreover networking, right? Let me get something from that. Yes, please.
Okay, yeah. So for you to know, when I started being it, do you want to know the story how I began to be in a Microsoft student partner?
Sure.
Okay, I was always doing things by myself at home. I'm not actually from the capital city of my country. I used to live at that moment in a really small town where I was born called Salta, which is near Bolivia, the north of Argentina. I'm from Argentina, guys, and it is a really really small city. And the only thing I had was my computer. Everyone at my university didn't like to research. They were the type of university that teaches the all things we were taught Pascal at that moment, how to program with Pascal. And I used to see a lot of the Microsoft events online. And I started creating websites. So with a friend that was a designer, we created a small company in which we created website for customers. I was only 20 years old at the moment. He was like 21. He was the designer and I was the programmer. And we used, at that moment, Azure did not exist. And we bought services to host our websites for our customer to a company that was in Buenos Aires. So they sent me an invitation, like they sent everyone through mail to an event that they were hosting in Microsoft offices in Buenos Aires. Imagine, I was 20 years old, a student, and I said, okay, I'm going to this event. And luckily, my older brother, he's 10 years older than me, was traveling to Buenos Aires at the same time. So I told him, please take me with you. I will behave. I just want to go to this event. And he agreed. He took me to Buenos Aires and I went to Microsoft offices. Everyone was like 50 years old in that event. I was 20 and I felt like I didn't belong at that moment there. And I remember, I never forget because I still talk to her, Alejandra Frisoni. She was working for Microsoft at that moment. And she came to me and said, hi, what are you doing here? And I told her that I own my own company in Salta. We had like 2 customers only. And I told her that I was interested in learning a lot. I wanted to learn. And at that moment, you didn't have that much information on the internet like you have today. So she told me, okay, write to me and I will contact you with someone that can help you. Okay, and I went to the event, I went back to my city, and then she wrote to me and said, would you like to host an event in your university about your experience in Buenos Aires? I said, yes, I want to. And she sent me 3 books. One I remember it was Introduction to C#. The other ones was Pattern in Software Development, and the other one was ASP.NET. And she sent me a box with those books, and I hosted an event in there with how I was traveling to Buenos Aires. But I was amazed that the event I got like 100 persons assisted to my event, which was a lot for my city. And Alejandra thought that that was a nice amount of people, and she told me about the program. Okay, so she said, we have this program. We are looking for student partners. Would you like to become one? And I said, yes. And then I began my journey. There used to be a step before becoming a student partner that was having a cell. Like you needed to have a group of students that needed to create something. And the Microsoft was supposed to see what you created. I remember I created a desktop application in WPF, which was like new at that moment, Windows Vista. and then we sent it to Microsoft, and they loved it, and that's how I became a Microsoft student partner. And we, as a cell, there were 4 of us. We got selected by Microsoft to travel. They bought us the tickets to travel to Buenos Aires, the 4 of us, and we exposed that development in an event in Buenos Aires. And that's how I made the other student partners that were from Buenos Aires. And then I met Sebastian and Augusto, which were my Imagine Cup mates. So we decided to present something for Imagine Cup, as you said, and we first competed. It was, I remember that at that moment, you first needed to present a document with the idea. So we presented the idea and we won in Argentina. And then they made us travel. You need to create the first POC, and we traveled to Chile because we were competing in the entire region. So it was, I think it was Bolivia, Paraguay, Uruguay, and Chile and Argentina. And we won. It was in an amazing hotel. It was the first time I went out of Argentina. And we won. And we want to travel to France. I was like 21 years old, 22 years old, and I couldn't believe it. And I remember, funny story. My dad, he was like really, he wanted to take care of me, and he was scared of me traveling outside the continent. And he phoned Microsoft employees and said, if something happens to my daughter, I'm going to kill you. Later on, those guys told me the story, and I couldn't believe my dad did that. But that's a funny story. And that's how we went to France to the Imagine Cup. That was the first time. I like to tell the story that it's nice when you feel that there are, if you try something, if you at least send a mail or send an idea, it's amazing what can be accomplished by doing that. Most people think that, no, I'm not going to send my idea because there are a lot of important people out there, they can do better. And I wasn't scared. I said, I'm going to try. And I did it with the guys, and we got it, and we went there, and we met amazing people from all over the world that I still have contact with. So if anyone wants to join Imagine Cup, that's my advice. Just send ideas, and luckily you will get picked.
That's awesome. Awesome. It's a fantastic experience that you shared with us. Really do appreciate it, because I personally learned from many things from your experience. And not just to mention, but in the year of 2012, you became a technical evangelist at Microsoft for Buenos Aires. Like, wow. Like, from student partners to Microsoft, really, it's a fantastic idea. And not just to, again, just mention, you just landed to Redmond on the same year for Microsoft. Share me some experiences from Redmond. Like, like you're from, it's very rare to find a professional like you who have not just a passion about technology to make things happen, but you do things.
Yeah.
That makes a perfect combination. So please share some experience.
Well, I first got into Redmond. Then actually, if you see my story, you can see that I first got the job as a technical evangelist and then to Redmond.
Right.
But the truth is that I first got hired from Redmond because I was talking a lot with a student partner from Mexico, Juliana. Her name was Juliana. And she got hired from Microsoft Redmond, and she nominated me. So it's important to be connected with student partners. She nominated me, and Corp decided to travel to Brazil to interview me. So they paid me a ticket to travel from Salta, which was my city, to Brazil. I went to Rio de Janeiro, and they interviewed me there, and I got the job. So it was like October, but I needed to get the visa in order to go to the US. And that took more than 5 months. So Microsoft Argentina found out about me, and they decided to hire me on January. They wanted me to prepare to get to know the company before going to Redmond. And that's how I became a technical evangelist. But how did they find out? I was a student partner, and I was working a lot with Buenos Aires. So they knew me. I was always traveling there to the events, and they found out, and that's I ended up working with Miguel, who was the person that managed all the student partners, and suddenly he was my coworker. And then I moved to Redmond, and you can imagine when I was 16 years old, I was at high school, and I went to a girls' high school. Everyone wanted to be a lawyer, a doctor, a mother. And I saw the movie Pirates of Silicon Valley, which was Bill Gates against Steve Jobs working Microsoft against Apple. And I said, I want to work there. I want that action in my life. And my teachers, when I was 16, they asked me, okay, what do you want to be as an older? And I said, I want to work for Microsoft. And they was, okay, stop dreaming. What do you want to do when you get on it? I want to work for Microsoft. And they thought they made me a lot of tests, and they didn't understand that I wanted to work for Microsoft. That was my goal. So when I got into Redmond, it was like a dream come true. Right. I was, of course, I did all the tour. I went to the first office where Bill Gates created everything. I went to all the places I knew by the storybooks that important thing happens. And I met Steve Ballmer because all people that went there with the background that I had the opportunity to meet him. And I was shaking that day. I don't know how to explain that kind of thing happens to you. I loved it. I loved Redmond. I loved the employees. I loved everything. There was one little issue that I really love my family. And that's the reason why I decided. So Microsoft Buenos Aires wanted me back. And so I decided to come and return to Buenos Aires after a short period of time. But I keep on traveling to Redmond and seeing everyone over there. But I was still at Microsoft. It was different. I wasn't programming. I was a technical evangelist. If you go to Redmond, you are going to be a software developer. That's it. You're going to have your office, and you're going to program products like in any other company. The only difference is that you work for Microsoft, and the products probably will reach a lot of people around the world. So in fact, I created something on Word. When you work on a text on Word and you highlight a word and a pop-up appears, right, I developed that.
Great.
I developed that.
Awesome. So now presently you're a Microsoft MVP and a quality manager at 3XM. Now when we just talk about the MVP, let's just move ahead with the community things. Presently there are so many of the community things that are going around universities or students that are like, they are indulging themselves. Like for someone to be new at community, like he or she is very confused with which community should he or she join. What your first suggestion would be on that sentence?
Community regarding all different companies outside. There is something that I found in Microsoft that I didn't found in any other company. for you to know, I also try to work on AWS and Google, and not working as a company, but on the technology, and try to get with the evangelist of those companies. And there's something that all Microsoft employees have that they share with the community, which is the personality and the humble. They are humble. So probably if you tweet Scott Hanselman, he will tweet you back, and that makes you feel like you belong to something. And when you're learning, the learning journey, it's pretty lonely. Even that doesn't look like it's lonely, but learning, and it's not something that you will, it's not like in the university that you will sit with someone and a teacher will teach everyone the same thing. When you get out of college, it's different. You need to learn alone. And I found that all Microsoft communities, and I'm talking about student partners, I'm talking about MVPs, I'm talking about the employees, and all the different things that happens at Microsoft, Learn.tv, and all the cool thing that they are doing. They like people to connect with them. And if you get stuck, or if you need motivation, you can write a Microsoft employee that you admire, and you can tell them, hey, I'm stuck, I don't know where to go, I lack of motivation. And they will probably send you at least a book. Read this. And so that's the difference. Every time I reach, and that's my experience. Maybe people can have different experience, but every time I reached different leaders from other communities, that didn't happen to me. It's like they expected me to already knew everything, and in order to reach them. So if you are not an expert, they don't consider you part of their community. When Microsoft community is the opposite. If you are a learner, they consider you part of the community. And that's something that I really like, and that's why I'm a Microsoft MP right now, and I really dedicate time to these kind of things, like being with you right now, because I think it's important. You have no idea the impact you might have in other people's life. I have someone. I met someone when I was a technical evangelist. I was in a part of, I created an event in Argentina that got like 5,000 persons studying .NET. And one of the guys joined that event. And after that event, he came to Microsoft, to the offices over there. And he told me that he wanted to learn more. And I gave him a lot of guides and toured him. After while I think it was a year ago, I didn't know. I found out he was working in Redmond. He's in Cosmos DB team, and I was doing the same that you're doing. I was interviewing people online. I said to him, Matias, can you join me and tell me your experience? Sure, Ivana, he said. And when he got online with me, he said, you know why I'm in Redmond? No. And he told me, I'm here because of you. And I said, what? And he told me that I inspired him, and I showed him that it was not difficult. And he never thought that by contacting me at one point, he would end up working in Redmond with his entire family. He has 2 kids and a wife. And that's something that shocked me, because I did it without planning on doing that. And Microsoft employees did a lot of that to me. So that's the difference, I can say, between Microsoft community and all the others. So the journey is that one. Student partner. If you're like me, probably you get hired or not, or MVP, and then probably will get hired or not. If your goal is that, you probably will.
Right. Actually, to be honest speaking with you, you're not just inspiring every individual, but every community members around the globe. It's just that, like, It's just a email away from you, just contacting you. This is what it is, right? If anybody wants to get in touch with you, the first step at least have to contact and ask him or her regarding whatever things you want for our guidance. And really appreciate you, Ivana, that you really accept and help us through having this conversation where Tutorials Link members and professionals again can get benefits from your conversations and wisdom of knowledge, of course, and from your experience. Now, since what is the best part of the technology community that you love the most about? Like we have now talked about your experience, you have shared about your what are things you have learned about. Now, what is the best part of the technical community that you love about? Like the true core that if you are looking for joining a community, this has to be there.
A community. I'm part of a community in Argentina as we speak. That community's name is Conosur. And being part of a community is a lot of work. You need to arrange events, contact people, schedule, update websites, a lot of work. And this guy contacted me. He's also an MVP. I met him like twice personally, but online a lot. And he told me, Ivan, I'm creating a community. I want you to create a community with me. And I said, okay, but there are tons of community. But there is something about this guy that he's exactly like me, that he likes to do things. I know it sounds pretty like superficial, but most of the communities, they plan things and they don't accomplish things. It's different when you do things. And as we speak, we are planning the entire year for the community, and we have already planned like 8, we call that, it would be like courses. They last a month. So the impact that we have is like we are reaching more than 3,000 persons for each one of the initiatives. And I love that they don't stay without doing anything. Like I might be focused on other thing, and they, Ivana, we're planning this already, come join us. And they put me in a meeting and I join, and everything's already settled. Okay, let's do this, and we're preparing this. So I like movement. I like when things happen pretty fast. So I'm an anxious person. But I think that's the important thing on a community. And the other thing is the brotherhood that can be inside of a community. It is important that there is no, that no one feels like he's better than the other. It doesn't matter if you outside are more important for example, I'm lucky that I speak English, but the guys from my community don't, or at least they do it, but not that much. And I'm usually invited to all Microsoft big events because I speak English. And but I never, when I'm with them, feel like I'm better than them. They are exactly like me. They have different expertise, and they are better in other things, and we connect perfectly with each other. And that's part of, as I said, being humble. And that's something that even you belong to Microsoft or not, or it's something that my suggestion is you take on as a life activity your entire day, because I do it even in my work. You never are better than another person or someone that just joined the company or a trainee. You don't know what that person can be in the future, and that can be beneficial to you also. So
right,
those
yes,
are
of course.
things.
Well, just speechless from learning through your experiences. And you know what, Ivana, that makes me always, like looking, whenever I have a doubt, I just look forward to you, just asking you. It's just the genuinity, and always you're ready to help others, and I really appreciate. And I think most of the viewers of this session will get benefit from your experience. At TutorialsLink community, we really do appreciate your presence over here. And again, accepting our invitation. That's an amazing thing and help that you did to us. And we're seeing your time towards our initiating. I hope that everyone will get at least some knowledge that will be put into their real life scenarios. So yes, this is all it is. And thank you for being here. I appreciate it.
No, you're welcome. And if I can help you with anything, you can contact me through social media. As I said, I usually answer.
I'll be putting your social media handles right in the comment sections below in the YouTube, so people can contact you over there. I'll be doing that.
Okay. Nice to talk to you, Subham.